Shalom. Assalamu alaikum, my friends. Today we're going to talk about the coming of the Dajjal and Antichrist, right? I'm going to give you great details so you are aware of who and what and where and the people involved and all. I'm going to tell everybody. All right? You understand? So that way you guys know all the players and you'll be able to see all the works that they're going to be doing. You will be ahead of the game. In other words, you will already know. So we're going to go to a prophet. This prophet was named Daniel. And Daniel is the one that was in the lion's den. Daniel is the one that had dreams, visions, interpreting. Daniel also was part of the exiles that went into Babylon. Now we pay close attention because if you notice, you have Babylon, that's where Daniel's at. And Daniel's going to describe an incident that takes place in the end time that the Most High God tells him to seal up those words, seal up the vision, seal up the prophecy, seal up the book itself until the appointed time. For these are not yet to come. So you have to understand something here. Babylon is where he's at. The vision and the thing he's seen is Bel of Babylon, which is also, it's going to be that Roman Empire, the Roman Empire that once was, will be, okay? It once was, is, and will be. All right? And I'll explain to you in great detail of how all this takes place. So, but right now, I can barely see, like, the light. I mean, it's bright in my house. You can see me. I can see you. We can see all things, right? But I can't, for some reason, these lights that they are selling us anymore, there's something wrong with these lights. They're messing up eyes. I'm telling you, they are. This quick flashing, all this whatever, this technology light, rather than just using an old incandescent bulb, who gives a fuck, right? They're making this new shit, and this new shit is it's, you see, these new lights are very not so good that they have. So I have to have this because I can't, when I'm looking in my book for you, so I can read it directly for you, so you have understanding of where I'm at. I can't even see this. I have very good eyes, but I cannot see this writing. And my vision is 20/20. And I've just started to notice that ever since I switched these lights. So we're going to go into Daniel, where Daniel is seeing a vision. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. It's in the first year of Balthazar, king of Babylon. Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another. Notice that word too as well when they're writing. You should take great consideration that the words that they're using now, when they're writing in book, they're using that same word. Now these beasts that rise up, they're all foul, and these are all the ruling of the world that we have had, right? So what we're in right now is in a rule of a world where you have superpowers, so on and so forth. You had Rome, you had Egypt, Babylon. These were different places, the four beasts that God is talking about. And God calls them beasts because he directs this word beast in a manner that he is God. You're nothing. You're a beast, and everything that you do is beastly. It's not godly. It's beastly. You're corrupt, you're foul, you've been cursed to die. Sure, you can struggle and try to do good, but the curse that we're in, it's a beast. It's dirty, it's foul. God don't want it. God don't want it at all. Diverse from one another, these four beasts. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings, and I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. So in other words, this kingdom became, in the beginning it was ruled by many. Now a king. There's a king. So this is like the first incident when people create a image of a ruler in a class, and they have declared this is a king. You put on a crown, you have a scepter, whatever. You're now the ruler. This is God telling you this is the first time this was given. So this beast, this type of rule that you have to understand when certain things to comprehend, right, is sometimes some things like a kingdom is a kingdom, and a kingdom can be a kingdom without like rulers in it. It's the people, the assembly of the people that kind of guide it. In other words, like America, we the people guide what we want. Right now, they have corrupted and taken over, and we have this foul. I mean, if you hear a senator or a House of Representative say that there is a deep state, right away the military should get involved. Right away, if senators and House are using words such as deep state have infiltrated our government. What? This is America. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, you're American. We are not against each other. We are not fighting each other in a war and a battle. What the fuck is going on with all of you? You understand? How quickly the Republican and Democrat would join together if an outside source, remember with Reagan, I'm not talking alien. I'm not talking nonsense UFO shit that they're trying to force to brainwash you to get you ready for AI type shit. I'm not talking about that. That does not exist. No aliens exist. That's lies. Fact. All the fucking years and all the centuries that you've had and everybody talking about this shit, where are they at? Where's your proof? Where's your evidence? Physical. There is none. All it is hearsay. That's a fact. Hearsay. And then nonsense shit. Lies, more lies. You can even go talk about element 115. They talk about that shit. Just because they say, oh, we did not, you can't find it on Earth, doesn't mean it's not on Earth. You just haven't found it. Or they're lying to you, in other words. But they always do, because that is, like I was saying here, they gave this beast, what God did is he gave this beast, and he plucked it up and lifted it up from the earth, and made it stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. So men now are interjecting their imagination in the assembly. Remember, I warned you, everyone, about that. You don't fuck with the assembly. The assembly belongs to God. That's his. You're his. Everything is his. And when he tells you to come to the assembly, you better show the fuck up at the assembly without your shit. You understand? Now, I wanted to reiterate. So you have the understanding that the guidance sometimes of we, the people, are what's supposed to be guiding a nation. The people of a culture, the people of a nation, they interject. They want what is, and this and that happens, right? Here, in this next one, you're going to see something. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. So now you have 3 rulers that are part of this beast that go out. So you have a king. Now the king's going to join some allies, right? We already have that. NATO is this kind of in this image that we're talking about here, second image. NATO is exactly like that. You have rulers joining together, and they're going to force or manipulate or control the land law or whatever it is. The people no longer control. These three individuals rise and devour that which they rule. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. So now, as you see here, the first beast was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Right? Then those wings get taken away. Another beast rises up, takes on 3. Now there's 3 rulers. Then the third beast rises up, right? The third one comes. And this one gets those wings back again. But this time it's like a fowl. It's not as like the first one. I'll explain the wing. After between the on his back and 4 wings of a fowl, the beast had also 4 heads. So now you have 3. Now there's 4 heads, 4 rulers or beast kingdoms now allied together. And dominion was given to it, which means it became the ruler of the world, the sea and the land, upon both land and sea. Because as you notice, there is this is coming. I'll read now. After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast. Now here's the 4th beast. This is the one that I'm going to explain to you in great detail of who it is, what it is, and everything, right? The other 3, they take place to what we are built up today. To have different nations have allies and trade, laws and deals and this and that. And usually they have branches of their government within those branches. So the wings are the helper at the time. So here is a lion rise up with wings. So a lion, I can't, the guy can't rise, or the beast can't rise unless it has some kind of backing or help to give it flight. That's why the wings are there in a reference to tell you that this has no power unless it has wings that help it. So it had wings that were helping it, but what happened? They got taken away, torn off. So in other words, that king that was given a heart or whatever, he decided to annex that which got him power to begin with. He doesn't want it no more. Then you later see those wings rise back up in the 3rd beast, because the 3rd beast needs that. But you see, those wings aren't taken, they're still there on the 3rd beast. And this is that which we are in, with NATO and different things. And you have different branches of your government that create and regulate things that give this beast image that we're talking about power and dominion. Now the 4th one, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse, there's that word again, from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Now the other one, how many horns did the second guy? Well, the 3 ribs. So it had 3 ribs. This one has 4 horns. The ribs are, if you can understand the word taf for rib, is the chromosome. So once you understand the ideology that word tav is not, they're not talking about a rib. They're talking about chromosome or chromosomes. there's 3 ribs, which are 3 different nations of people. You understand that? Now you can greatly understand the greater understanding when they're talking about certain aspects of details of these beasts and the meanings of them. Now, the leopard, which had on the back of it 4 wings and of a fowl, the beast had also 4 heads. Now these 4 heads, now if you look, they're not saying 4 ribs. Now they're actually saying 4 heads, because ribs could just be normal branch parts. But when it says a head, now you're talking about a king, a ruler of whatever was. So before, the 3 ribs could have just been subjects to the one king at that time, the great ruler. And then there's 3 minor rulers. If you go to Roman Empire, you can look at, there's Caesar. He's the head. But then down from Caesar, you have Pontius Pilate, who was what? Right? Along this branching out of power. But there was 3 main ones of branch. After this, I saw in the night vision, that was the 4th beast. Now, had great iron teeth. What do you do with teeth? You chew, right? You chew things. That's what you do with your teeth, right? So if this beast has great iron teeth, basically it means it speaks great things, right? Because that's what your mouth does, is speak. The teeth are iron. And what does it say the iron is used for? Had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. Residue of what? The residue of what is left over from the 3rd. So I'm going to give great detail now. When we're going to skip that, I just wanted to let you understand the images that were in the beast that had ruled during the time period. And then what we're in right now, that they're wanting to create this one world global economic forum that they're all pushing for. But they're going to have a problem with the Muslims. Big time problem with the Muslim. That's where everybody think the Islam is going to be the dominant religion in later days. That's where the Islamic leaders will say that, but that's not the real interpretation of that. What it really means is, in the later days, they will oppress and trample upon residue, including the residues of Christianity, of all the things that are left within the peoples themselves. And when they crush that and devour that, right, the Muslims are not part of that world. They are not in this. Like, you can see, like, they don't approve of gays and transgenders. It'll be very hard for this 4th beast to go to the Arab world or the Muslim world and talk about gays and queers and force you to accept that. No. See, that's where you get into the foul Christians that do. Some Muslims that are going to be living in these kingdoms will also be following along in that ideology. But when you get to the straight kingdoms where they have their culture, ideology, and rulership, they're not going to let this come around. There'd be war. Lots of small wars all over will start up because of what this beast is trying to bring. And I'll explain it. Right? So, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Now you see, diverse means what it means. You understand that. So the first one, the 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another. So they were all different in the manner of how they ruled and what they had at the time. And the ribs and the horns. So, or the heads, I mean. I keep calling heads horns, head. God, because the horn is on the head, God trying to sometimes switches up. A horn in a head is always a ruler. Just understand that. Horn in a head is always a ruler. I considered the horns. Oh, wait. So this third, I forgot. I did not tell you. So the third beast of the leopard with the 4 wings, a beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was, and the fourth one with the had 10 horns. So where we're at right now, where we live, there is 10 main nations that are controlling everything. Now we have to find out what those nations, who are those nations. I can't even see anything. I don't know this phone number. I don't know why you guys call me. Every time I'm on a video, I try to make a video, I get a phone call. All day long, I don't get a phone call. But when I make a video, I get a phone call. That means, come on, man, get off my fucking internet. It's illegal. You're spying for what? Because I talk about the truth? Get out of here, man. Leave me alone and let me be. Otherwise, I'm going to say to God, God, would you please do something about this? I considered the horns. Now there's 10 of them. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Now, a lot of people, they have interpretations of these type of things of what I'm telling you. They all have these interpretations, and I have listened to a lot of these interpretations throughout my life, but they're wrong. They're not interpreting it properly. So when they talk about all right, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up from among them a little horn. So the 10 horns are 10 kingdoms that we have right now in the world that's controlling. In one of those kingdoms, people always think that in the kingdom there's going to be some ruler that's called Antichrist. Antichrist is a movement. It's not a person. So when they're telling you this, you have to understand this. So right here, I considered the horns. Horns are kingdoms. And behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns. Think about that. So see everybody looking at the 10 horns, and I hear what they talk about, but look what it just said. Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. So one of these horns is going to rise and take over the other 3. Now, think about this. You have all the world superpowers that are right now. We have NATO, we have allies, we have all this stuff. Who are the 3 that got conquered within the 10 that we know of, right? Oh, I'll get into. I'll tell you. That is not my video. I want this. I consider it the horns. Okay, so it was plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and the mouth speaking great things. So in this horn, there's lots of spying going on. A lot of foul stuff taking place, because if you look at it, what does it say? What does the eyes do? What do eyes do? I see. And this thing is full of seeing things. Well, how can you be a kingdom? How can a kingdom, a horn, see things? Well, we clearly understand it now in the world we live in, with how the United States is weaponizing law enforcements to see everything. And a mouth speaking great things. So you see what they're all doing too as well. How they speak foul stuff. So if you understand that 10 nations, from one of those nations, a horn rises up. Now, I'll give you a hint. From those 10, England, out of England rose up something. This something is very foul. Remember, it's very diverse as well. So it can't be China. China's only Asians. It can't be Russia. Russia's Russians. White people. There's only a couple of nations on the planet where a great multitude of diversity takes place, where they actually live, make laws, you have elections that are different people in there. There's really only like 2 or 3 nations like that, point blank. Just understand that, because that first, like a lion, had eagle's wings, and beheld the wings thereof were plucked, and it lifted up from the earth, and it made stand upon the feet. And behold, the second one, that's the one, had 3 ribs. You understand now? Now this later one had 3, were plucked, 3 were taken. Now speaking great things, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. So through that, well, we have that. Okay, we have that understanding of what these beasts and stuff. I asked the Lord truth, so he told me, he made me known, these great beasts which are 4 kings which shall arise on the earth, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So understand that the last beast, this one that we're about to go into, understand this. This is Mahdi. This is Al-Mahdi. Fighting Dajjal, Antichrist. Hard to defeat, so Isa comes. Jesus comes to help. Understand? Or later you understand the rising of the Archangel Michael rises up for his people. Because you have to understand, in the spirit world, archangels, angels that you are describing, cherubim and seraphim, are all part of Yeshua, Jesus. Are all part of the Spirit of God. God is 7 spirits. You understand that? Your Creator has 7 spirits. He's made of 7 spirits. It tells you that He is. Now, I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked the truth of all this. So he told me, these great beasts, which are 4 kings, which shall arise out of the earth, but the saints of the Most High God shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever and ever. Then I would want to know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. This is the one we're going to get into. And this is the one where we have to go into. So let me find it. So we have here in the Daniel 8, in verse 24, or we could go up to 22. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it. These are the 4 kingdoms from Alexander's time. And the latter time of the kingdom, where the transgressors are come to full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not in his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper. Now you have to understand this word policy. This word policy is a new word, right? So the word is not policy for them to understand. It's policy using in this manner. They did not have a policy back then. They had a kingship. Policies did not come about until corporations came. They didn't have corporations back in the days. They just had kings and queens and rulers. So here you can clearly see in this that there is going to be a certain kind of policy and a certain kind of craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many, and he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand, and the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. Afterward I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. Now, let's talk about chapter 11. So now we have where how all this got to be created to where we are now. This is how it came about to where we are now. So now we have this. Go to chapter 11 of Daniel, chapter 11. And you'll read about the king of the north and the king of the south fighting. Okay? Now this is where, now when you get king of the north, king of the south fighting, remember it is, a day is like 1,000 years, 1,000 years like a day. So the fighting of Russia, since the days of Tsars, Nicholas, so on and so forth, there has always been king of the north and king of the south have always been fighting back and forth from that time. So for centuries, it's not like this is just one battle. For centuries, north and king of the north and king of the south. But here there is a certain one that God is going to specifically call out, and this is where he's talking right here, that he specifically calls this one out as there's a battle here. And the reason he's telling you about this battle is, let's go to chapter 11, verse 16. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him. And he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and the upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither before him. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, and he shall stumble and fall and not be found. This is what's happening now. This right here is exactly what's happening now. And you're going to see the daughter of men being handed over. And you're already seeing that. With sports, with, you understand what I'm saying? Transgender world, all this foul stuff, these dark sentences that these people have understanding. But that is not the one I want to discuss, because that is where we're at. What I want to discuss is when this goes into a great, great thing. Let me find it. And in his estate, all right, well, then you'll have rising up. You have these different ones rising up. Then shall turn his face toward his own fort and his own land, and he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom. But within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. Now, this is someone dies. So where we're at, there is a king right now that is in a position and he's raising everyone's taxes. And this king has short-term time. He's about to die. He's sick and he's about to die. Okay? There's a prophecy, and you can tie this prophecy in with Tecumseh. When Tecumseh calls his prophecies every 20 years, whoever is seated in this seat every 20 years shall die, shall lose this position. Now, in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries, and with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and he shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after a league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. Now this is the group that I want you to understand, that right now what we have going on. Now, I'm going to go into Revelations next and tell you to bring all this into an overlapping so you can understand exactly what's happening. With Ukraine war, why the Africans have visited over there, why they went to Russia to visit recently, all of these type of things taking place. But there's all there's this one leader that's no one ever has seen. No one gets to hear much about him. Doesn't even really act like a leader at all, right? We all know. I'm not saying that this is the guy. I'm just saying we have a leader like that. The next guy in place is very vile. And he'll rise up with a small group of people. And with the arms of a flood shall be overflown with him. And shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. So they're going to attack God's people and the prince and the religions, this type of thing. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. And he shall enter peaceably, even unto the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey, and spoil the riches, yea, and he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. This is clearly equity. That word they're using right now, equity. You understand? The small group they're rising up with is very diverse. It's the same like I told you when Israel came out of Egypt. It wasn't just Israel that came out of Egypt. A small group of mixed multitude also came out with them. In the same manner, God always does the same kind of storyline, right? Also in this same manner, this guy that's rising up will rise up with a small group of foul, mingled, mixed, diverse group. And we all know who that is. Now, this is not, we haven't seen the king yet that's going to run. But this is coming. But this group, we already see what the group that he's going to rise up, we see what the group's about. We already see the group. We just don't know who it is that the group is going to boost to say, we want you as a leader. We haven't got to that yet. That's coming. That's coming within like 8 years. That'll be here. And then you'll really understand who this guy is. Now, and he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. Yea, they shall feed of the portion of his meat, shall destroy him, and his army shall be overflow, and many shall fall down slain. So in this, you'll see that within Russia's government, there's going to be betrayal to Putin. That's plain and simple. Putin's king of the south. Or the north and the south. Not south. I mean, Putin's the king of the north. So then shall we... and he shall stir up his kingdom and courage against the king of the south. And the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. This is where we need to determine north, south, east, and west. Back in the day when they wrote this, what was really to them what was north, south, east, and west? See, that's what people failed to understand. So, but I'm pretty sure that the south king of the south is going to be Russia, and there's going to be something that's going to, like it says, these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief. So they want mischief. And they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then he shall return to his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits to return to his own land. In this manner is where you are going to see, where I am seeing Vladimir Zelensky, north, south, everybody in this war that is happening right now. Because you clearly see there is nothing happening that's already been passed. The four beasts, we're in the fourth, the beast, the third one is where we're at. The fourth one trying to rise up, and this fourth beast will be where a group of kings or rulers will give their kingdom over to him, and we'll get into that in Revelations. I'll go to that. But if you understand Ukraine used to kill Christians. See, a lot of people aren't telling the truth about this place. They're really not giving you the truth about any of this. So here you're going to see that both of them are mischievous. Putin's a liar and Zelensky's a liar. Both of them are mischief. And that's what they plan to do, is mischief. And they taking money, Zelensky taking all of our money, all this stuff. Meanwhile, you're giving money to a guy who's going to turn on Christians and Jews. Muslims. You understand? This is what will happen. Both these kings shall do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return to his own land, his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. At that time appointed he shall return and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former or the latter, for the ships of Chittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. This is the papers that you see that got released, intelligence that went out about some of the backhanded dealings that the nations, the 10 nations, hordes, had been doing. He shall return and have intelligence with him to forsake the holy, and arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice. Now this later, now as you see, this will be dragging out later on. This is where we're at. So you can't say what I'm saying is going to be true or not true because we are in it. I am trying to just show you this, what we're in is the makings of these things that are right here that they're going to bring about the Dajjal Antichrist. This will bring it about. And I'll explain now. We'll get into that. Such that do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupt by flatteries, but the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits, and they shall understand among the people. Many shall instruct them, yet shall fall by the sword and by flames, by captivity and by spoil many days. And when they shall fall, they shall be holpen with a little help. But many shall cleave to them with flatteries, and some of them to understanding shall fall, to try them and to purge and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for the time appointed. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against. Now this here is a king. This king shall do. Now we haven't had it yet. It's rising. It's coming. And accomplish, for that which is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor desire of women, because it's a robot. Robots don't procreate. And a robot can't understand to say man is God. robot to God. We're God to the robot. Understand that? So he doesn't have the kind of God that we have. He doesn't. This is a complete different kind of human, sixth human. Nor the desire of women, and this is why there will be a lot of this small group that will be following will rise, because they as well are just like this robotic way. They have no desire. They're mostly gay or whatever. They can't procreate, so what's the point? Nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all, but in his estate he shall honor the God of forces. And a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus he shall do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. Now this strange God is a God of force. That's why these little institutions are rising up. They're breeding lawyers and doctors and teachers, and they put them in your school. This is how they take this over. Understand? At that time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind with chariots. Now look at this. At the time of the end shall the king of the south and the king of the north now shall come against this guy, like a whirlwind with chariots and with horsemen, with many ships, and he shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over. He shall enter into the glorious land and set up his tents, so on and so forth. Now we're getting into what is happening, and I'm going to show you this. He shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown. Why? Well, because they need the gold and they need precious stones to make their technology. And a lot of these countries, Egypt, Africa, a lot of this is in these smaller little areas. He shall enter in also the glorious land, which is Israel. And many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape from his hand. These shall escape. Moab, even Edom, and the chief of the children of Ammon. Those are Muslim nations. Understand? Now, where I tried to explain to you that this group is going to have a hard time to bring the Islamic world into their foul, perverse, gay, mingle your seed, all this God, the new God we don't even know about. No one's ever worshipped or heard. This is where this comes and rises up. Okay? What? He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But the tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with a great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many, and he shall plant the tabernacles. Now, I haven't given you all detail of this, but when we get into the African, the Ethiopian, the Libyan, will be following the Antichrist. You clearly see where in America you saw our kingdom at one time. They were donning African garb. They were trying to kiss ass with this group. They were trying to bring the African into accepting their forceness of gayness, homosexuality, transgenderism, hip-hop music, taking your American tax money, giving it to Africa so they can build a hip-hop music industry over there. All sorts of kinds of stuff that fouls up your children's minds, so that way it's going to be easier to take them over in later times. Understand? Force. A god of force they worship. So they always use the Ethiopian and the Libyan in this process, because if you call out against it, they call you racist. They'll grab this group and say you're racist. If you call out against the homosexuality of godliness, they will call you they use the gays, this small group again. They use these guys to call you out as you're a homophobic, your hate, your all these foul things that are not true, but they can use these small groups so they can force their agenda upon you. You understand now? Therefore he shall go forth with a great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many, and he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountain, yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble which never was since there was a nation, even to the same time they shall hard to read, even to that time, same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to the righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So you clearly will see this turning of, they have foul movie stars and actors, and those are your stars. This next kingdom that's going to come, that is going to be Isa, just Jesus Christ, rule for 1,000. This new kind of thing will be people that we call stars. They're going to be good people, righteous people. You know, all of our entertainment people, we're not going to have foul groups no more. Because like I have been telling you, we need to change. It's not that music's bad, movies are bad, TV's bad. No, God gives all of these things for all of us. We create, He gave it to us. It's what you do with it. It's how you use it, good or bad. Right now, they're using it for bad. Brainwashing everybody. Forcefully brainwashing you. Did you accept the first time you saw a commercial where two guys or two girls were kissing, did you give your government, did you give your media permission? In the assembly, did the assembly give you fucking corporations permission to show our children that shit? Did you ask? You just did it. You forced it. You see, this is where I'm trying to explain to you. So you can understand that how this small group, that's big time in America. It's in England. It's spreading into Australia because Australia, you got that hip hop girls. I'm so fancy, and you see their kind of weird stuff where they have the Aborigines people over there. Meanwhile, in America, you got the Africans here, and then over in England, you got Africans and India because of the conquering. So you have this diverse type of nonsense shit that should not even be in existence, period. Don't remove the ancient boundary lines of your forefathers. Every seed bears fruit of its own kind. So all these commands and laws they breaking. So even though, like I say, even though you can follow the 10 Commandments, we're still not, because we are in a nation that is full of this shit that God says is bad. You don't mingle your seed. You don't do that. God forbids that. You don't do this shit. So even though you're claiming to be good, you're claiming to be righteous, when God comes, He's going to put you in your fucking place and let you know, no, you're not. So you clearly understand that these people who like to do the mingling of their race, because they were brainwashed with foul hip-hop music in America, this also is that same group that will fight for the rights of transgenders and gays, because they claim they're a minority. You're not in a minority. You're a group of fucking people who like to commit sin. That's it. A minority, there really is no such thing. Because you can say in America, the minority of Americans are people who are non-Caucasian. Those are minority people. Motherfucker, if I go to China, I'm the minority now. So the minority and majority is all about perspective. But this foul group, this kingdom that came from England that rose up, this group, these are the ones pushing this shit. These are the ones telling you this kind of stuff and spreading it throughout everybody's nations. They're the only ones that talk about diversity. You can't have if I'm in a nation where it's just my people, we don't talk about diversity. We make laws and decisions based upon our own people. We don't have lots of different people in different places. So the only nations that do this are those nations. Those three ribs. And if you want to get down into the nitty-gritty of it. Then, as you notice, the mingling of the seed people, they also are the same ones that fight for the rights or for something of, oh, the trans and the gays, oh, we have to help them because if they get destroyed, then they'll come after us. But the more people we can gather, and then those who are gay, now they're going to go and help the trannies. You understand? So this foul group, you see it, now this foul group needs someone to lead them. You understand what I'm saying now? This is where big tech comes in, or what they're pushing. This is AI. Because see, AI will have all these inputs of computer chips that can analyze things very quickly and fast, even though it's programmed. And this guy, AI, will give you your law. You understand? He'll tell you your law. He'll tell you this, he'll tell you that, what to do, what to say, what you can and can't say. Policy, remember? Policy and the craft that prospers. He controls this. And they love it. The people who are foul upon the earth love it because it's their leader. They program it. So everybody thinks that AI will be able to think for... No, it's a robot. It's a computer. You have to program chips. They don't get to think for themselves. Never. It's all programming. But they become so... The information is so quickly given. It's like the Dajjal. One day is like 1,000 years. So for him, he can calculate something and give you a reference and a decision or a law about it. And the people will accept it because it came from what they claim is something smarter than what a human can be. You see? So then the whole world will wonder. Remember what that says. The whole world will wonder after the beast. Now, if you understand the days of Rome, because this one also, there's a wound. With those 10, there was a wound that one of them received. And if you go into the kingdom that received the wound, and then that wound got healed, if you go into that kingdom, the Rome at that time, foul, depraved, homosexuality, they wrestled little boys and girls. You understand what I'm telling you? Prostitution was big. Men and women prostitution. Back in the Rome days, a lot of people don't talk about this, but because they want to hush it up. But back in those days, a lot of the leaders in Rome were cross-dressers, transvestites. That's why later on, and you get into England. That's why later on you'll take notice in England. They used to wear wigs. Powder their face and powder their wigs and all this weird stuff. They wore makeup. You realize this, that these leaders, they were wearing makeup. Now there's not a camera. We don't have cameras back there to knock glares off your face or something else. Why are you walking around wearing wigs and makeup? And then later on you find out that even the person who created the FBI building, the FBI themselves, was a cross-dresser. Transvestite. Did you guys know this? He liked to wear women's panties and pantyhose and clothes underneath his businessman suit. So no wonder they're already taken over by these foul people and weaponizing. We're in it, man. Trying to tell you, everyone, you're in it. And because you have listened to all these nonsense religious fanatics, leaders and preachers and teachers and imams who have no understanding of any revelation of truth, they get their indoctrination from their school or wherever they got their certificate to teach from. They're teaching the same shit that their school taught them to teach you. So none of them are going to have the truth. They still say Moses turned sticks into snakes, like I told you, right? You understand? So we're clearly seeing it right now. What I'm saying, you clearly can see it's all happening. And they're look at this. Movie stars, actors in Hollywood and all this stuff. They like to adorn themselves with what? Gold and precious stones and all these type of things. Glamour. They like the finer things of life. This and that, right? You understand? What does it say that this Dajjal, this Antichrist, what does it say? But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and a God whom his fathers knew not, shall he honor with gold, silver, with precious stones, and pleasant things. So if you're going to want to be a member of our worshiping of the force, so it's like people don't realize, but they create certain kinds of music on purpose. That's why if you look up in music, there are very few musicians actually made their own music. A lot of people don't realize that. Very few did. A lot of people got their songs written by somebody else. And if you go and you look into this recent world, that was by this guy who was a homo, who used to try to have sex and fondle people that he were going to sign for the record company. And everybody's aware of that guy? Or you don't know about that guy? He's a known African man that writes a lot of different songs. He's been writing songs since the 60s. All the way up, even now, he's still writing songs. Understanding dark sentences. Dark sentences. Subliminal messaging. It's real. It's real deal, man. Backmasking. It's all real deal. They've been using it. When they had Hitler scientists and kidnapped them and brought them into America, they used to study the brain and how things work. They've been doing it. Hell, they had MK Ultra up in Canada with the CIA. You understand what I'm saying? This dark sentence stuff. They figured they found out how to fuck your brains up using alpha and beta waves, theta, beta, alpha, which causes your brain functioning, and then they flood it with foul shit. Words. Subliminal and forward. Doesn't matter. Back and forth, back and forth. And they do that in the music, and then what they do is they go to the entertainment world, and they'll create shows, movies, reality shows, or talk shows, and the things that they have put in their music, backwards, hidden, or whatever, they bring this out in the world. So back in the 80s, when hip-hop first came out, they did a lot of backmasking and subliminal messaging, trying to get whites and Africans to mingle their seats together, and they would show it on video, films. You'd see all the nonsense, all the stuff that they manipulate your minds with and everything. You see all this clearly. And they tried to do this, and as you see, the people that did this, that joined in with doing it, they gave them a lot of million dollar contract, get lots of money, go buy yourself fancy cars, fancy boats, go get to take trips, get the best of the best. Remember what it says? What did he do? And honor with gold, silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. And look at all these movie stars, actors, reality TV show, all these guys. They got bling bling, bling bling, right? Yeah, fucking sold your soul. Now, when I say sold your soul, I'm not saying that there's a guy with a pitchfork and a towel. He got you to sign your name and he's going to come get your soul. No. Selling your soul means just simply, you know what's right and wrong. You want money and fame and fortune over righteousness. So you sold your soul, which is your life, for gold and riches. And you're fouling up children's minds with your perversion. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And the one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, it shall be for a time, and half a time. All right? And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, which shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. But the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,330 days. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. So, it's not, this is the, what I'm telling you of the knowledge I have, of what I have studied and looked back at since the 80s, of when I was a child all the way up to now, that is what we are in right now. We're like in it. It hasn't even risen up yet because it hasn't spread all the way throughout the world yet to these other nations. So in the book of Revelations, when you get to Revelations, okay, and we talk about this, let me go, the chapter 13, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up. Now we'll go to this chapter 13 verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast. This is Rome, was the first beast. The second beast is like that, and causeth the earth and them which dwell thereon to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Now, this fire from the sky. Are you guys aware of the Putin's bomb, where fire rains down and catches stuff on fire? There's a missile that he shoots, and it blows up in the sky, and down rains fire. It's illegal. You're not supposed to use it, but he's used it in Ukraine. And knowing this weapon is there, just understand that the weapon's there. I'm not saying that Putin's this guy. Putin's the thing I was talking about before. But this guy, he'll also use these weapons. He'll have access to this fire that comes from the sky in full view of everyone, even though, according to the Geneva Convention, you're not supposed to be using that shit. burning people up, left in a building, burning them up alive. That's foul, man. Murderous motherfuckers. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now, when we get into this, the fire from the sky, these bombs, you know how these bombs work, right? How did they do it? Technology. Technology. So when you get into this part here, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means, we should say, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the technology that people will call a miracle or a great power. And they do this in the sight of beasts, which is the kingdom, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of this technology, AI, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now, when you get into this wound of the sword with the Roman Empire, as you clearly see what Rome had been trying to do, got stopped. But Rome was about to, do you realize Rome was about to foul up the whole world with this perversion? It was on its way to do it. Do you know how many babies they aborted in Israel under Roman Empire? They used to take the babies and just, after they'd be born, they'd bash their head on a rock. They'd take them by their legs and just bash them on the rock. That's fucking sick, man. Do you understand that? That's sick. But this is what they were doing. So now they have created a new kind of way. Because, if you see somebody giving birth to a baby, then they go bash its head on a rock, people would get involved in that. That would not be acceptable in the assembly of the people on the damn streets. So they came up with a different solution, the second beast, which they healed that wound. The second beast rising up from the healed wound, they get condoms, contraceptives. You should be having sex anyway. If you're not going to make babies, why are you having sex? That's what sex is for, is to make babies. So they made all these different things. Condoms, contraceptives. Now, in this, as you can see, they became gay. They're making a big stink about transgenderism, this fifth human, all these type of things. Saying to the people on the earth that they should make an image, an AI, about this. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So what is the image of the beast? So the beast is a kingdom. The false prophet is the Antichrist that's going to try to teach you, oh, it's good to be like this. This was good for you. This will be good for so on and so forth. Doctors, lawyers, scientists, teachers will all be involved to try to promote it, to force it upon everyone. What did it say? The beast, they want to cause the world, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. They're already doing this in California. California Governor Newsom, he created a law that if you are a Christian trying to keep your child, which is your child, they're trying to say, no, everybody, a child is owned by everybody now. That's what they're wanting to do. Back in Rome, did you know that Rome did that already? You know that they used to have schools that Rome would go out and get your children and bring them into the place to make them a soldier, make them this, make them that, this and that. You understand? They forced it. Same way here in California, they're going to say that if you have a child that the child who's, let's say the child's only a 6-year-old kid, they say they don't understand who they are, they want to be something else, and you say no, you get charged with child abuse and your child gets taken from you, and now it becomes state owned. Now you have to understand why I am in this. I was adopted. I was part of the state. I am well aware of all your fucking ways. Because I am that which came forth from this shit. A rebel without a cause. Right? But now I'm a rebel with a cause. I was ripped from my biological family, placed in another home. All sorts of kinds of goof. I could tell you, if people wanted to know people have told me, because I've said different things, I should write a book about my life, when I grew up all the way up to now. They tell me it would sell, but I don't want to tell about my hardships in life. I don't want to tell people things that had happened, people did to me. I'm born again. I'm a new creation now. I don't need that nonsense. But I am aware of it, where it come from. You understand? So here's where they're going to do it to you, where they're already doing it. And it will be a fight against the righteous people. So here you see the righteous people are fighting doing this, where I'm trying to teach people, if you really want to, you don't just shut down stores, you don't ban stores, you don't not buy and purchase stuff, because if you shut down, you get rid of people making stuff for you. The government that's what they want you to do. That's what this beast wants you to do, so they can bring you into the simulated technological world of Rome. The second Rome will be a technological world with the AI robot. They want to get rid of things. Like when I go to a store, when I buy clothes, I want to feel what they feel like. I want to put them on and see how they are. Here, if you get rid of stuff like that because you're complaining about nonsense shit, evil's always in the world. Evil's always in the world. It grows tares and wheat. You don't need to complain about it just because, they put a transgender on the beer can, or they got this back here, or who cares? This is what these people want you to fight with them. Don't fight with them. They are Romans. Tells you about these people. Don't fool with them. Flee from these type of things. Because they want you to fight with them, argue with them about race and gender and color and creed and all that. They want you to argue with them about this nonsense. That's why I try to tell everybody, get out of your dead man grave. Because they're going to target Christians and Muslims of your grave. You're going to come, when you realize that they can't target me because I'm not in your grave. I don't believe the way a Christian believes, even though I'm godly. I don't you understand, like I am beyond you in your interpretation and translations of the Word of God. I don't believe Moses turned sticks into snakes. So I don't believe in hocus pocus with men. I don't believe in magic, as some Christians do, or Muslims do. You'll be easily defeated by them. Because the AI is so smart, he is going to use that which you know of as your religion and counteract you with it. And the whole world will be astonished by it. It is astonishing. But I'm trying to show you, I'm not an AI robot. I'm already astonishing you people with your translations. What's wrong with you? Why have you not come to me yet? You're going to go to the AI instead of me? Oh, you motherfuckers. Fine then. I will battle with you too then, when the time comes. So, can everybody kind of understand? Now, I can get into greater details of things. right? If you want me to get into the nitty gritty, like just take a lot of focusing on one thing. I've had an hour and 20 minutes right now. We could take 5 minutes of something that I said. I can analyze it for you and give you a greater truth about it. You understand? And show you great details of different things that are happening. So you clearly see that this diverse leadership, this fourth kingdom that rising out of it, it uses diversity, race, gender, creed, religious views. You think in your mind, what would an AI argue with you about? What could you argue with AI about, right? That's what it will be doing. But remember who's programming it. Look what it says. Remember what it says. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those men. Deceives. So who's programming what you think AI is so smart? Look, I got a calculator. I can take a calculator and add this number and this number really quick. It's instantly. Is it magic? Is it a miracle? But when this calculator comes to life and it can talk now, your brain wave will be on a different level to where you assuming that this is something that is like you and me. It's not human, man. Son of perdition. Fuck it. This thing is programmed by these foul individuals to program it to do which it wants them to do. You understand? And you will think, because they will tell you that AI is thinking for itself. So let's say, for instance, okay, I have a robot. In my hand, there's two different kinds of pop. You choose which one you want, Mr. Robot. Can the robot choose because the taste? No. Can the robot choose by the smell? No. Can the robot, you understand what I'm saying, getting at, right? So when they program the robot to choose what drink it likes, and the robot says, take the Pepsi challenge, or catch the wave, all these different weird things, right? Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all that's fighting in the 80s, remember that shit? When the robot says, I choose this one, it's not that the robot chose it, the programmer did it. And if the robot's going to choose, let's say there's cans that have images. So how will a robot be able to choose, like, you like the color blue or the color pink? Which one's for you, blue or pink? Which would you like? Most boys, they want blue. Do boys like pink? No. Everybody knows girls want pink. Pink is not, it's not like a, when we talk about pink and blue, right, for a minute, let's just stop for a minute. Let's talk about that. I'm not talking about, I don't like pink shirts and pink this. Or, I have that. I have many things. Look, this is almost in a pinkish color right here, my bed sheet. We're talking about something that you desire, that you like. For when you wear clothes, you want to wear pink, you're making a statement. Everybody knows outfits and clothes make statements. Why you wear a business suit to work? You trying to make a statement? Why you not just put on sweatpants like Fetterman? Because there's a statement being made. So when we're using pink and blue as a color for male and female, pink is considered soft and blue is considered bold when you look at these manners. So girls being soft and cuddly and this type, that's what they surround themselves around. That's girly fight stuff. feathers and puffy things and floaty things, all this stuff. Men, we want machine, hard stuff, gun, all this, that's what guys are about. So when you get into the color choosing as well with AI, they're programming it, pre-programming it. So in the algorithm of his brain still, maybe more outcomes are for a blue can than a red can when it works its algorithm to make a decision. More times pop up, take the blue can, not the red can. So the AI reaches out and takes the blue can because that is the thing that the programming of algorithm come up constantly. That's why I say algorithms are nonsense shit. Because just because I'm looking for something, search something, doesn't mean that is what I'm all interested in. But in an algorithm, like I've noticed, you notice on your Twitter, your Facebook, your feeds, all these things, the algorithm is always something that you have searched. You could be searching just because somebody had told you about it and you just wanted to see what they were talking about. You could care less. But now all of a sudden, because you searched that, your feed is going to be full of something. That's the algorithm. Does it mean it's truth? No, deception. So this algorithm is lying on me, lying about me, deceiving people about my own self. You see? So in this, that is where it is stated, when it deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Now you can understand that when the brain cell, let's say this AI robot with computer-wise is connected into an arsenal weaponry of our military branch, to where he can speak while he's there. He can speak, I'm going to blow this place up. Boom! And it happens. Fire from the sky is seen. He spoke it. And he did it. He foretold, the AI robot foretold false propheting, foretold what he was going to do. And then it happened. And then people are astonished by that because it's fast. Before, if you want to go to war, you got to have this group has to agree, that group has to agree, that group has to agree. You have to go through this process, that process, sign it off, then okay, now we can go. Not with this guy. Because he's connected, people think he's wise. God, you're going to sit and claim to be God, right? So people who think he's wise, he'll make split decisions like that. And the whole world will be amazed and deceived by these wonders that he's producing, because it's something that people don't normally do. Could you imagine if a leader decide they want to just say something, they're going to do it, and they do it? And how much fight would go against him? But because they are all in agreement, all the living are in agreement to give power to this son of perdition, it can automatically make its own decision without having the process of decision making. You understand what I'm trying to tell everyone? So this is the thing I wanted to show you, that you're going to see a lot of the, like right now, as you see with the African, the Ethiopian, the Libyan, following this Antichrist agenda way, because here you got all these people telling Russia, don't fight with Ukraine, Ukraine, don't fight with Russia. These two fucking people are fucking foul anyway. Putin and Zelensky, both of them. It said they're both sat on a table, they agree, or they're just bullshitters. And they're causing right now, they're causing all the nations that will give their power over to the Antichrist movement, to the Dajjal false prophet AI. They're going to give all their power over to this. You already see the working of this happening now, because they're already agreeing in a certain manner. You got to stop the war. Stop the war. Now the Africans, you got to stop the war. England, stop the war. America, stop the war. China, stop the war. Think about it. Think about this for a minute. World superpowers are telling these nobodies as nations, really in reality, nobody as nations. Russia has really no economy. They don't produce a lot of stuff. Natural gas now because of America let them. But they don't have offering to anything. But they're not stopping the war. That tells you that it's being done on purpose. Could you imagine you sitting there and you're a small little nation that this and that, and you get other nations who have nuclear bombs, and they come to you and they say, hey, you need to stop this war. You're going to say no to 4 nations who have already called you out? Obviously, there's a great to it. They want you to think that this is show, but really, all of this working that they're doing and showing you on media coverage and news, pre-planned, premeditated crimes that they've done, premeditated. That's why that's why Imam Mahdi is justice, because I know they have premeditated it already. Therefore, that's a crime. And these world leaders that have done this, they're going to get justice on them because of the premeditated crimes that they have committed against not one nation, but the people of the earth. The people of the earth they have committed these crimes against. So as you clearly, and you get into the classes like I told you earlier about money, they will never let you get rich. They will always, once they give you a raise on your money, they will raise everything that we make. We farm it. We are the ones doing it. Why are they raising the price of something we are doing? Wake up! But this is how they are controlling and how they reach the positions of power that they actually have now. It's because they have created these classes and these ways and these things. Understand? So I will get into some other things, greater details about this specific thing. But I just want you guys to know that we are in it. We are in it right now. Like, that's why I always say within 20 years, because you have to think. You have to really think. I am almost 50. Almost 50-year-old man. I started my YouTube and my Facebook, stuff like this. I think I was probably 40 years old. About 40 years old. I'm 47. I've been doing it for about 7 years. So when I was 40, I first started to speak in these manners different. I've had accounts that I've deleted, that I've had up. You understand? I've had accounts that I was banned. They took me down, especially when COVID was around back in 2019, 2020 stuff. They really banned a lot of my accounts and stuff. But I've been doing this for this long, and like I said, I'm 50. If you understand more about certain aspects, I'm not going to be an 80-year-old man. I'm not going to be a 70-year-old man. 60-year-old man? Possibly. Because I'll be 50. But I think that when this really starts to take effect in a forceful manner, it will be the time that I reach, from the time I reach 50 through 60. So in between that time frame is when people will, I believe, start to recognize the things I say, the truths, who I am, and say I'm not. Let's see, how can I put it? People will recognize that I know stuff that only God could have told me. Only God could have revealed such things to me to know. It's not something I came out with my own head. And people will start to understand that, especially the Moses story. People will start to hear that become big. People will start to, how'd you know about it? How? Because you look, everybody is reading it one way. Everybody's been taught all that. How all of a sudden is someone like me just popping up saying a whole different thing that literally is truth that could shatter all your deception? Only person that could do that would be God. So that's when I think people will understand that God is with me. God teaching me. God tells me and shows me all these different things. But I have said a lot of stuff in this video. I've had it for almost an hour and 30 minutes now. But I think it was necessary to let people understand where we're going in our timeline and where we're headed, where I'm at, how old I am, and the steps forward. Now, how, in a manner, how could I rise to such a great estate? I don't know. I'm not quite sure in that manner, except for, a civil war take place in America. If I stayed fighting, maybe I become a good soldier guy, rise up into ranks of generalhood or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to. I really don't want to. I could care less about war. I got out of the Marine Corps because I did not want to kill people. I told my CO, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want to be. He tried to keep me. Well, you can be a preacher. You can be. I just want out. I'm gone. Bad decision. I'm done. So I got out. So for me, I am not a man that's seeking fights and wars and stuff. That is far from me, right? Just my own history teaches you it's very far away from me to be violent and cause people problems and stuff. I am far away from that. I shut my door and lock myself away when I see craziness in the street. I leave it. Get away, fuck away from it. Because I don't want to be no part and never know how something will turn out. I don't want to be no part of any of it. Because I have seen those parts, you understand? Because of who God has made me and the life I've grown up in, I am aware of certain things that could rise into something else, and I'm done. You wipe my hands, I'm going home, where I'm safe, right? So, it could be that I flee from the Civil War as a refugee to go somewhere, and during this time period is where there will be certain kings that will give their power to the Antichrist movement, and this will determine where America is going to be at in the battle of the Antichrist. So you understand kind of in the manner that it's going to be very hard for this foul shit to infect Islamic people in their Middle Eastern world. You understand that, right? So if I can get away from the shit that's happening and go where they are at and teach them more of my truths, they can rise in power. They will have great wisdom. Islam world will have great wisdom to fight against the Dajjal. Understand? Because the Dajjal is going to, the AI will use your religion, your books to try to destroy your religion, which it will too. I've done it. I did it before the AI did it, man. Come on. I did it before AI did it. So it's not mystery, it's not miracle happening. Even I, which is a normal ignorant man, did it. With the power of God, of course, yes. With the words of God, yes. But even I have already done it. So once this goes, most people in the Muslim world, they'll understand and recognize, hey, yeah, he did. I remember that guy, like 10 years ago, I'd seen a video. That guy, he claimed to be the Mahdi. I didn't believe him at the time. No, it was crazy and stuff. And then, oh shit, Civil War took, oh man, then this guy got a plane and people following and this happening, that happening. Oh shit, and then they found out that he fled. And now Syria going to send an army after to go get, the ground opened up and swallowed him. Oh shit. Something about this guy, man. This guy being protected, like godly protection is protecting this guy, man, in some manner. You understand? And people will start to see this type of stuff. Just understand me for a minute. I really don't want to be a part of this. I am just, I'm not a coward. I'm not scared. I'm not, understand that. I just, if you've had my life and you lived my life, you know that if I go down this path, I'm going to have some troubles. If I go down this path, I won't have no troubles. Both paths, God are with me. Right? God will walk with me on